Here. Great to have you joining me this morning on 10 Minutes of Morning Calm. And today we're looking at a line in the Bible in Genesis 2, and it's a line out of the creation story that probably many of you have heard before. It's oftentimes used as part of weddings, and as somebody who does a lot of weddings and baptisms, this is a line again that a lot of people tend to be familiar with. And this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore, a man will leave his father and his mother and cling to his wife, and they will become one flesh. That whole command: leave father and mother, cleave to your spouse, cleave to your partner, and you will become one. Might be how we would say it today. So a little context to that, and it's a beautiful. There's actually a beautiful story, like right underneath the surface here. So the story is this: Adam. This is this sort of creation part two, and it's Adam gets created, then Eve gets created. Not good for someone to be alone. So there's this living sense of autonomy that gets created. The two come together, and that's an incredibly powerful thing, because there's this new sense of autonomy we start to get in our lives, and that new sense of autonomy is very much this idea of flow. We find a lot of joy there. We find a lot of fun there. I mean, for lack of a better word, it's where kind of things start to go together, the inner and the outer. And there's not kind of this. A few days ago, I looked at the difference between fitting in and belonging, courtesy of Brene Brown, and it's this place where we're just into this part of life where we just feel this deep sense of belonging. We're not trying to fit in. We don't feel like there's a divergence between who we really are and what we're presenting on the outside. It really all comes together. And that's a beautiful, beautiful sacred spot. Now, again, we will fall out of this spot. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of the story, fortunately or unfortunately. And but it is really interesting. And I think probably a lot of us know what that experience is. I hope you've had that experience more than once in your life of just being in that kind of flow. And then there's this beautiful line: that thing gets created. It's to be one flesh, one thing. And it says, leave your father and mother. Oh my goodness, that one's really interesting. It's interesting as a pastor, and this is a little bit of a divergence, is working with people. There's a truism that family is the most important thing. And that is clearly true on many, 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 many levels. And we can't overplay that hand. It's like with anything, any virtue taken to an extreme rapidly becomes a vice. If you don't know how family being everything can become a vice, just watch The Godfather sometime. And you'll see what it looks like. It's interesting, this call to leave father and mother. And I think from a Christian church perspective, we read that both at a surface level. Yeah, you know what, when it comes time to get married, to have your own family, important to leave that and start to create your own family. And that's the whole unity candle thing: two candles, two families becoming a new family. That's part of many wedding ceremonies. And there's something else here too, folks, I think that's really, really important. And that deals with the harbor or the sea. The harbor or the sea. We are in our lives fashioning boats, as it were, boats for this journey called life. And many of you are master boat makers. We can all make beautiful boats. I think God is there with us, giving us the plans. And he doesn't necessarily spell it out, but he sure gives us a sense and love of the sea. And that is what drives us to build these figurative, imaginative, metaphorical boats. And the job of the boat is not to remain in harbor. It's really important. The job of the boat is not to remain in harbor. The job of the boat is to sail the sea. And it can become, I'm just speaking totally honestly for myself, it can become so tempting to think, no, I just want to harbor. That's it. No sailing, no ocean going, no challenges, no storms. I don't want any of that. But the reality is we are going to get that. And that's why the boat is built. The boat is built actually to sail the seas and to face the storms of life. A quote I read last week that brought a big smile was this with the seas. It was, see if I get this right. Calm seas make bad sailors. That's really true, right? That's really true. So that idea, you are being given this autonomous self, this part that just feels in integrity. And again, folks, very few of us live there 24/7. Frankly, I don't know anyone who does. Maybe the Dalai Lama does, but I certainly know most of us struggle. Most of us touch those moments where we're not feeling that division, maybe for brief moments, several times a month, maybe only once a week, but we do touch those moments. And that place where we live in that place, that's a boat that's being built. That's what God's trying to create. He's giving you a sense of it. He's giving you a sense. Think of that as the love of the sea, is that sense of togetherness, that sense of integrity. And our job is to just keep heading out there. Of course, harbors are important. And of course, especially when we're in a storm, find a harbor, find a place where you can tie up, find a place where you feel that protection. And then when the storm is over, get out and sail again. Get out and sail again, because that's what God is asking of us to do. And it's very tempting to race for the harbor and just think our job is to go from how quickly we can get from one harbor to the next. I don't think that that's necessarily what God's asking us. I think it's how fast we can get out into the sea and learn the lessons that are there, and really, instead of trying to blast through parts of life, really taking a breath and thinking, okay, what can I learn here? What's the lesson? What's the seagoing voyage here? So that's the thought for today, folks. Think about the harbor or the sea, and note that the harbor is a great place to be, and we're not supposed to live there. The whole point of these boats is to move on. And it's the same way with family. Not that we're to ever, sort of like jettison our family. Never, never, never. That's where we learn the gift of unconditional love. It's just to realize that we need to keep moving. That's what God really asks of us. And that's the way eternity is going to be. Eternity is not going to be a static state. It's going to be a time of eternal learning and growing as we become more and more loving. So that's the thought for today, folks. I hope that makes sense. And I certainly am wishing you all a beautiful day here today. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a little meditation. Then that'll be followed by a prayer. Then it'll be followed by a blessing. And then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I, excuse me. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. My apologies there for a coughing meditation. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you home, and bring you peace. Amen. All right, friends. My apologies for that huge little coughing fit in there. And so there you go. All right. So let's take a look here, dear friends, and say hello to everybody who is joining us this morning, who is able to join us on one of our social media platforms. All right. So today we will give a little shout out to, all right, there we go. Patricia, great to see you, my friend, and hope you're doing well. Linda, good morning. And I love seeing those pictures from out west. Arizona in that area, one of the most beautiful states of the union, I do believe. Paige, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us last night. That was a really fun group. Martha, good morning to you, my friend, and I hope you're doing well. Carolyn, happy Thursday, dear peeps. Yes, and Carolyn, this morning, this is totally a tangent. I saw Easter peeps for sale still. Yuck. That's all I can say to that. Sherry, good morning to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Marcus, good morning to you, and I hope life is good for you, my friend. So, folks, again, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us archived, as most people do, we wish you all the very best. And feel free to leave a comment later in the day, as many of you do, and I'll try to get to them as best I can. And yeah, just wishing you folks all the very best. So today, just think about the harbor or the sea. Know the benefits of both and know that boats are made for the ocean. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.